What's up, family? It's your girl, Samantha Lee. And y'all, I'm here with my second episode of the More Than Just Pretty podcast. Y'all, I'm so excited about this new journey. And I promise you guys with this particular platform that I'm going to be unapologetically myself, that I'm not going to hold back. That in this journey that God has called me to, I'm going to give you what He's given me to give. And so that's what I'm going to do. So here I am, giving it to you one more time. And today, you guys, I'm going to talk about something that I think has been one of my biggest journeys, and that people ask me a lot about is healing after heartbreak, healing after, something that, I mean, listen, healing after heartbreak, healing after heartbreak. I think that in the past, you guys, I have not healed from heartbreak well, especially, I talk about this particular relationship, the relationship with my first love, in my early 20s. Some of y'all who have heard me speak about this before, like, girl, are you going to talk about this again? Well, y'all, it was a transformative experience. Like, that experience literally, changed the game for me. If anybody knows, it's that first love that literally, shifts your atmosphere. It's like, whoa, hold on, wait. And that was that particular experience for me. I realized, first of all, how broken I was, how I was using relationships to define me. I was using relationships and people to make me feel happy, make me feel good about me, and that is not the intention of a relationship. I think a lot of people today, that's where we get it all messed up. What can you do for me? How do you make me happy? And the expectations are that a person is going to come into your life and do what you're supposed to be able to do for yourself. And that's part of the problem. Dr. Miles Monroe says this, and I think it changed the way I looked at relationships. He talked about how a person coming into a relationship that is not fulfilled, that is not a full cup, and looking for the other person to pour into their cup versus being two full cups coming together is a relationship that is going to lead to a lot of resentment, brokenness, and unfulfillment, because we're looking for relationships and people to do what only God can do, what only you can do with God. And I'll tell you the truth, in my younger years, that's what I was using relationships for. Serial monogamous, went from one relationship to another relationship to another relationship until I found a therapist. I know I was in 3 major relationships in my young adult years before I ended up getting married. But I got in those relationships and I was broken. I was a broken young woman, still hurt from the first heartbreak, but because I didn't take the time on my own to truly heal from that particular heartbreak, I was bleeding on people that did not cut me. That's the truth. And a lot of us, we just try to fill in the space, try to find somebody because we feel lonely, because we feel broken, because we feel this and we feel that. And we allow emotions to drive the car. And we're looking for other people to fill in the void that relationship caused, whether it's a wound of rejection or a wound of, I don't know, a wound of insecurity, a wound of fill in the blank, whatever wound relationships leave you with. You look for somebody else to come in and fill in those dots and fill in those spaces. And that's not what people are created to do. Now that I'm older, now that I'm sitting where I'm sitting, I've learned that the best way to heal from relationships, and listen, y'all, I have no dog in the fight, whether you do it or not. But the best way to heal from relationships is taking time by yourself. And I found that is so hard for people to do. They got to be talking to somebody. They got to be sleeping with somebody. They got to have somebody texting them good morning every morning. They got to have that. Otherwise, they feel unfulfilled. They don't feel attracted. They don't feel wanted. They don't feel desired. They're feeling all these different feelings. And it's like, no, you need to sit with that emotion. You need to sit with that. Because those are how you're actually feeling about you. And until you're able to resolve those feelings within you, you will not be good for nobody. So yes, sit by yourself. Yeah, figure out, why do I feel this wound? You might find that a lot of the wounds you feel come from childhood. Unresolved issues that are just bubbling up to the surface. And because you just keep distracting yourself with other people, you really can't focus on the matters at hand. And you have broken relationship after broken relationship. And the easiest thing to do, and it's a lot of what I see in society today, is to blame people. Oh, it's their fault. It's them. It's them. It's them. I saw an interview with somebody and they were just talking about they had, several traumatic endings. Like it was like, I think it was like 6 breakups. And, you know, it's their fault. It's their fault. It's their fault. They did this and they did that. No. You've got to, no. You don't have back to back bad relationship after bad relationship after bad relationship. And we going to sit here and say, you ain't got no dog in the fight, that you have nothing to do with the toxicity that you've entertained. Some part of you has to resonate with toxic to be with toxic and to continue to choose toxic. I say this a lot because I heard it and I thought it was so true. You are not who you attract. You are who you entertain. I'm going to say it again. It is not who you are, who you attract. You are who you entertain. And if you entertain certain spirits long enough, I would assume there's a part of you that got some toxic going on. And the quicker you sit with yourself and say, you know what? Maybe I got a little something to me. Maybe there is something to what Sam's saying right here. Maybe there's a bit of brokenness. Maybe you dealt with a broken childhood where both parents weren't available or accessible to you. Maybe you had some trauma that experienced in childhood that you haven't really sat with and resolved. Maybe you had a drug addicted parent and that drug always came first. Maybe you had a parent that was consumed with relationships. And therefore, they never really gave their child 100% of their attention because they were always looking to be up under somebody else. They was always looking for their validation and their worth in someone else. And now you find yourself repeating that generational curse. Maybe you look to relationships and people to validate you and your existence, which has caused you to stay in broken places way too long. And it's easy to just say, oh, it's them, it's them, it's them. But today I'm telling you it's you. I'm telling you it's you. And why do I know that? How do I know that? Because it was me. It was me. I make this joke a lot, if I'm being completely transparent with you, that before I was, 25 years old, I was a hot mess. I wasn't a good person to be with. Just wasn't. And that's because I was incredibly insecure. And, nowadays, guys, that's when social media just started. I mean, Twitter just got going. Instagram just got going. I mean, I had just came from MySpace. Some of y'all listening to me might not even know what MySpace is. I was just coming from MySpace to Twitter to Instagram. And, I would tell you right now, I didn't know my right from left. I look back on it now and I'm like, man, I didn't even know myself. I see a lot of young women today is the same thing. I think we stay in a state of insecurity way longer now just with social media. You feel you are in constant competition with everyone all over the planet. At any given time, there's always going to be somebody that got more than you, more of this, more of that, more of whatever. And so I see that young women struggle even more with finding their identity, finding their value, finding their worth, seeing themselves as beautiful. Because there's always something that we could change. And now with modern medicine, you can change it. It makes it very hard for you to just be okay with you. And if you aren't okay with you and you're struggling with loving you, you're going to struggle with loving others. And that's what I see a lot of. We can't love anybody well if we don't love ourselves well. A healthy relationship with self is paramount. And I think a lot of people use other people to help them love them. Like, if they see value in me, then I'll see value in me. If that person likes me, if I get that person to love me, then maybe I have a reason to love me too. And y'all, that's loving from a very broken place. When you look at love or you look at relationships as the source of your value or your security, anytime that relationship's at stake or any relationship is at stake, you're questioning yourself, who you are, what's your value? What's wrong with me? Why me? What's wrong? And then you're just in this kind of toxic cycle. Then you find somebody else to find value in you and whatever. And then we end up in relationships that are way, way below our standards. And God, I'm going to have a conversation about standards and preferences. Standards are like minimum requirements. You know how when you go to college, you got minimum requirements? Like you got to have this type of GPA, blah, 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 minimum GPA, minimum. That's standards. Like the minimum requirements to be a part of a relationship, to be in a relationship with somebody. Like, do they respect me? They're not abusive. They don't, they don't cheat on me. Whatever your standards are, that's like minimum requirements. Preferences is, oh, I want him to be this tall and be this fine and, got a job, got this type of job, not just a job, because that might be a standard for you. You got to have a job. I'm not mad at that. But you might say that a preference is, I want him to make X amount of money. I want her to look this way. Or I want her to be this tall. I want her to have a master's level education. Whatever that may be for you, those are preferences. Standards are like minimum, like basic. So, I always say God is crazy with the preferences, right? Sometimes God is going to bring somebody in your life and they hit every preference, but they completely annihilate your standards. And that's what messes us up, y'all. We be going after our type, and our type don't do us right. Our type don't be doing us right, baby. They don't be doing us right. So you want to meet somebody that has, they meet your standards first, and then we can negotiate the preferences, because God is funny. My prayer to God, and I'm gonna get back to my real thing, but my prayer to God is like, God, make me so wildly attracted to who you have for me. Like, I want to have an unexplainable drawn, like, I don't know why I want this person so bad, and I like, that's what I pray for. I literally pray for that. And, I think that's a healthy prayer for anybody to pray. Because sometimes, y'all, we be negotiating with ourselves to stay in relationships with people because they meet our preferences. They don't meet your standards. Back to the topic at hand. I think that the biggest thing that I've learned from healing after heartbreak is taking real time, like real quality time with ourselves. Like, no attachments, nobody you texting, calling, dating, going, no, just you. Just you and you. Don't try to fill in the space. Don't try to find a comfortable spirit. It's very easy after heartbreak to go hit up an old faithful, an ex that you already know, that you're already comfortable with. It's easy to do that. Well, it's easier to do that because you're already familiar. There's a sense of safety that you've already developed with somebody else. But I want to challenge you to do it differently, because that's when I've truly healed, is taking the time for myself. No attachments, nobody, people be like, oh, sneaky link these days. I think that's a crazy term. I don't know why we use it, but y'all will know, younger generation, sneaky link, no sneaky links, no text buddies, no situationships, just you and you. Because some people are like, I'm single. You got 15 people you texting in your phone. You may be quote unquote single, but you ain't really single. I'm saying, like, nobody. I'm saying the phone is dry. You only, for me, Is my baby girl that be blowing, that might be on my phone when she, if she's with her dad or whatever. That might be the person that's calling. I'm just kidding. It ain't that bad. But I'm saying, like, if you got I got my friends. I've developed my support system outside of that. So it might be my family, my friends. Obviously, I'm active on different platforms. I've got a lot of things going on. So I'm never really like just nothing going on. But at the end of the day, just having that time on my own to just kind of feel the freedom to feel, right? Because when you get into a relationship with somebody, y'all, there might be places you can't go because you got somebody watching you. You can't mourn the loss of your past in front of your new person. Because if you mourn the loss of your past in front of your new person, that person's going to feel like, dang, well, you don't really, what am I doing here? You really feel like a rebound then, or you make the person feel like a rebound then. Because now it's like they're now competing with a person that's not even there. It's like the ghost of a person. And so now you got to temper your process because you've got to think of this other person that's having to watch you heal. And what you don't understand, because you can't all the way go through all the feelings and sit in front of somebody and cry and mourn, because y'all, there's 5 stages of grief. Okay. And a lot of our relationships today, there are like mini marriages, right? And some of y'all are healing from marriages. I've got messages today where, there's a lot of people healing from divorces. And they're saying, man, I feel this way, or I feel that way. There's 5 stages of grief when you're losing relationships. And I know all the words of them. Like I know, but I'm not going to say in the right order, even though, the stage of grief is not linear, but there's like a actual order they're put in. So it's denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. Denial, anger, bargaining, depression, acceptance. So denial is like, you can't believe this is happening. I can't believe it. Why they've left. I thought this relationship was gonna last forever. Blah 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 blah. So on and so forth. Anger. I can't believe them. I can't believe they did this to me after all I done did for them. I can't. You bitter. You mad. You angry. That's the second stage of grief, right? Bargaining. Well, what if I would have done this? And what if I would have done that? And what if? And that just becomes the soundtrack of your mind. Which you guys, a lot of times people go between bargaining and anger, right? Because they're going between themselves. They're bargaining like the what if and then getting mad and they're going back and forth. So that's another side note. Depression, just listlessness, sadness, loneliness, the feeling of the loss. That's all very normal. Missing that person, missing what they brought. And the thing is, you guys, what I found is like when going through all those stages of healing as I've described and truly healing, the beauty of that process is that you're able to find the beauty in that past relationship. I find that when I talk to people, I can tell where they are in their healing process if they can say something good about their past. If you can look at it from a very objective lens versus so emotionally charged. Like I'm like, okay, they're disconnected from the experience. When you mad and you bitter and you angry, you coming at it from that type of energy, like, oh, you need some time. You're not over that. If that person evokes any type of strong emotion from you, I know this is still something for you. And these days, as I coach people, I'm able to call that out more. Probably in the past, I couldn't because, shoot, I was a walking reaction myself, especially in my younger days. But now that I've gotten older and I've had some, sitting in front of a therapist, you guys, for me, has been a game changer. That's another part of the healing after heartbreak that I have to talk about is a lot of people are like afraid of this whole therapy thing. And therapy, whether you realize it or not, it helps. Our brain is like a filing cabinet and it files the things that we've experienced. It files our, genetic coding. It files all that. And when traumatic things happen, it doesn't know how to file it because your brain is it's all over the place. thinking a lot of different things at the same time. So it may file something in the wrong place, which whether you realize or not, you might be functional. You might be able to go to work every day. You might be able to handle your day-to-day tasks as you have always done, but you're not at your highest capacity. Why? Because your brain, everything you do has got to make sense. For your brain, for you to be at optimal capacity, everything you do got to make sense. Otherwise, you experience a thing called cognitive dissonance. So what your brain will do is either change the belief or change the behavior in order for you to continue to function at a high capacity, right? So what happens is that when we go through breakups and heartbreaks that are just shattering, our brain don't know what to do with it. So it's like trying to file it in different areas so that you can still do your job the way that you need to do it. But it's almost like looking at a room, like let's say your bedroom, and somebody's coming over and you ain't got time to really thoroughly file everything or put it all away where it belongs. So you just throw it in the closet. It may look like a clean room, but once you get into that closet and you done thrown everything in the room that was just on the floor in the closet, you can't find the shirt you're looking for or the shoe you're looking for. Why? Because it's been put in the wrong place. It's not organized correctly. And that's what happens with trauma. That's what happens with our brains. And so when you do talk therapy, whether you realize it or not, talking about your issues and being somebody to be able to frame it or help you frame it or help you put it in the right category helps you to function at a higher capacity. Because whether you realize it or not, you're not functioning on all cylinders when trauma happens in your life. You're just not. It's not possible. And a lot of people are like, oh, well, I'm not crazy. I'm not this, I'm not that. Oh, well, that's debatable. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. Let me ask your friend. Let me ask them if you crazy or not. But it's not that you're crazy. It's not that you're anything. It just, when we talk about things with someone who is an expert in brain functioning and what to do with talking in a way that's therapeutic, it helps your brain file it in the right place so that now you can compartmentalize it appropriately. I find that a lot, like if you think about somebody that just went through a breakup, right? And I've been there before, right? I've been there. You're like, all men are cheaters, or all women are users, all women are this, all women are that. And then they listen to a whole bunch of angry content. All they do is anger, 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 anger. I'm like, okay, yeah, no, you haven't filed that correctly. You're not there. Or someone who's completely numb, doesn't talk about it at all. You're not there either. Right? So it's like, it's about being able to file it in the appropriate place so that you are able to function at your highest capacity. Because your brain function, it runs your whole situation. So if your brain ain't right, you ain't right. Just period. And that doesn't mean you're crazy. That doesn't mean you're all over the place. That means you are human. And from the beginning of time, we have had counselors, we have had people that have spoken, we have had higher ups in the community that have helped us through challenging times. That is all. You read the Bible, read it. There's people that they were talking to. There was people that they were elders in the community. There was people that they were communicating with to help them process things. We've made it into this big ordeal. And mind you, there are people that have, the neurotransmitters may not all be firing the way that they should. And that's okay too. There may be abnormalities there and hormone levels and all that stuff. But just in general, when we're dealing with trauma, and we're all going to deal with trauma, I feel like at anyone's point in anyone's life, they're going to need a therapist, period. Doesn't matter who, what, where, when. You come from the best family, the worst family, the best neighborhood, the worst neighborhood. I don't care where you are. I don't care if you're at the top of the food chain, the bottom. Everybody's going to need a therapist. And when you're dealing with heartbreak in any way, whether it's a loss of someone in your life that is transitioned, they're no longer here with us on earth. Or whether it's the loss of a relationship, and that person's still here, but you're not with them. any type of traumatic event, your brain may need some help processing it. I think that sometimes we overlook the importance of just having someone in our lives to help us do that because, I don't know, we have YouTube University and TikTok and all these different things that are telling you a whole bunch of different stuff. And it feels good when you get certain information, feels bad when you get other information, and all that stuff. But I think that when it comes to healing and healing the right way, if you're willing to put in the work, you're willing to show up, you're going to get the results. The other part of that is just talking and not doing is another flaw in the healing process. Because some people, they don't mind going to therapy. So the first part of it don't even apply to you. It's like, I love talking to a therapist. I know everything about mental health. I done watched every video. I done did all these, personality profiles. I know where I fall on the spectrum, blah, 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 blah. But you don't do none of the work. Like, nothing works without applying, right? Nothing. So if there's something that is being told you, there's different things like coping mechanisms and strategies that you are being taught in this therapeutic process, and you are not applying those things, you are just doing what you've always done, then it's null and void too. Because now you know a whole lot, you don't talk to a whole lot, but you're not applying nothing. That's with any job, anything that we do in our lives. If I want to go get in shape and I get a gym membership, okay, I got the gym membership, I got the meal prep, I don't eat the meal prep, and I don't go to the gym. I'm not getting in shape. Right? So it's the same thing with therapy. You've got to go to the gym and you've got to eat right. That's the only way you're going to lose this weight. You've got to apply the strategies in the therapeutic process. I would say therapy has been a game changer for me. And with the filing or refiling of certain things that have happened in my life, it has truly helped me grow as a human being, and help me grow spiritually, help me understand myself, help me understand, okay, what voice is speaking? Because a lot of times, guys, we think that we can heal ourselves. But in any other capacity in life, we are willing to take direction from someone. Every other capacity. If you are an athlete, you are taking direction from a coach. You are taking a direction from a mentor. You're taking direction from maybe somebody in your field that is at a higher level than you. You take direction from them. You get a new job, you're going to take direction from somebody who's going to train you how to go through that job. If you're a student, you're going to go to school and there's going to be a teacher that teaches you, and you're going to take direction in that regard. Right now, I'm telling you, I got a mentor in my life, and I'm taking direction from her because I've seen that she knows exactly what she's talking about, and she's an expert in her particular field. We will take direction in all areas of life, but lack taking direction in the one area that matters the most, our minds. There's nothing wrong with sitting in front of a therapist, y'all. There's nothing wrong with applying those strategies, okay? And it helps you to take accountability because we don't see ourselves well. I don't know how many of y'all have ever lived with somebody, if you've had a roommate, if you've ever had, a romantic partner. You don't really know you until you stay with somebody, because that person is going to say, oh, why do you do this? Why do you do that? And be like, dang, I've always done this, but I've never seen it that way. It's a new set of eyes. We do not see ourselves well. And so part of my healing journey has truly been allowing myself to sit in the seat of accountability and letting somebody kind of pick out some of the things that I do that is not conducive to me being a good person or a better person or be a more productive citizen or be a good mother, being a better friend, being a better sister, being a better partner in the future. I want to be the best that I can be. So anyway, you guys, I didn't realize I was going to run up to 30 minutes this quickly, but I want to hear from you guys. Let me know what you guys think. This is the second episode of my podcast, More Than Just Pretty. I want to know what y'all think. I want to know what you want me to talk about. And I hope that this was helpful for you. I felt like this was what God put on my spirit today. And I pray that it blesses you. I really do. All right, you guys. I love y'all. And I will see you guys soon. Well, talk to you guys soon. Something different.